Today on the MotoMan Podcast, we're sitting down with a man who turned a simple car clip into a format that feels cinematic, all without losing the honesty.
2012 is when I started the straight pipes as a just exhaust sound channel.
It didn't start as a brand, it started as a problem he couldn't ignore.
I am going to eliminate all of that stuff and I'm just going to make a high quality exhaust videos.
Then he leaned into the only advantage he could control, craft.
Why don't we just bring this production value to YouTube that at the time many people weren't doing?
And once people noticed, the doors opened.
He's like, yeah, take the keys, bring it home tomorrow. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Jakub Wrobel, the man who proved the blueprint to success isn't luck. Jakub.
Yes, sir.
Where are we?
We're 1 hour away from Area 51.
While that is technically correct, we are in the exotic port of call of Pahrump, Nevada. Now, why are we in Pahrump, Nevada?
There's some Corvettes here for us to drive. Well, to look at.
Well, drive and look at.
That's right.
So we are here for the reveal of the 2027 Corvette Grand Sport and Grand Sport X. 2 cars, not 1 car.
That's right.
And then someone decided to show off on the track yesterday. Who was that person?
That wasn't me.
It was definitely you.
No, it wasn't.
Definitely you. I'd say the fastest guy on the track was you yesterday.
I don't want to say that, but I think I was.
Okay, he can neither confirm nor deny. So, in all seriousness, I came here. Normally, I do not travel with the podcast gear.
Oh, thank you for bringing these chairs and everything. It's a
What do
lovely
you
setup.
call them?
Muskoka chairs.
Muskoka
But
chairs.
rocking versions of the Muskoka chairs.
Although we cannot rock as
No.
normal because of the arms.
Yes.
This is not really a great podcast studio, if we're honest. It is 0 dark 30 because you have a transfer to Las Vegas.
In 1 hour and a half.
So we got to get talking here.
Yes.
Okay, so I normally don't travel with this gear, but I knew on this event there would be interesting people to talk to.
Because it's Corvette.
Because it's Corvette. And unfortunately, I got stuck with you.
Sorry.
In all seriousness, I'm very excited about this because I've wanted to have you on the podcast for a while. I've known you for a while. I think you got an interesting story, and there's some things I want to cover with you that I don't think people know about you, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
And you also have a problem with cars.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to Grand Sport and Grand Sport X, but I think we should start kind of at the beginning. How does Jakub become a car guy, especially in a place like Toronto?
I mean, that part I didn't have a choice in. That just kind of had to happen because I live there. So I've got a funny story that my parents told me, which I'm not sure if it's true, but when I was like, I don't know, 2 years old or 5 years old or something like that, I was born in Poland, came to Canada when I was 2, but went back several times since. Apparently, my parents told me that I could identify cars by their engine sounds because I couldn't see them because where the house was, cars would just drive by and then something would drive by and be like, that's a Fiat because Poland. And I guess that's where it came from. And like, oh yeah, I just like cars. And I didn't really like getting into the mechanical stuff of cars, but then my dad, because we didn't have any money, so my dad would have to fix all the cars and he's an engineer by trade. And so he knew how to fix cars. And again, because of necessity, he would also have to fix cars because he also told me a fun story where back in Poland when he was growing up, he didn't have any money to, swap an engine with blew up in an old Maluch, which is like a Fiat thing. I think Matt Watson actually has one.
It's something they contract to build there.
Yeah, it's Polski Fiat.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he had to pull the engine one time and basically hooked up a rope to the engine, threw it over a tree, and then pulled the engine, through a rope up because he didn't have a hoist. Like, that's the kind of stuff that my dad grew up
What
with.
kind of engineer is he?
He is, well, he's a mechanical engineer, but he likes electrical engineering as well, but he's a mechanical engineer by trade.
And is he a car guy as well?
No. So he actually hates cars. He hates when they break. And so because he doesn't modify cars or anything like that, he just fixes cars. So he looks at cars. If it's working, it's great. If it's not, I need to fix it. And so that's it.
So he'll fix the refrigerator if he needs to fix the refrigerator.
Exactly.
This is unusual because, I've chatted with a lot of car guys, and not everyone comes from a car guy. Like, I got the disease from my rocket scientist father. Or people usually get it from people who are indifferent to cars, but I've never experienced someone who's literally, they hate cars.
Yeah. I wouldn't go as far as hate, but like, yeah. And so because of all that stuff that, we'd have to fix cars, so I would be the, one holding the flashlight and getting yelled at, which is fine. But that's how I learned. And then eventually, got my first car and everything, helped, learn how to change brakes and timing belts and heater cores, unfortunately, and things like that.
Was this like a father-son like bonding experience, or were you doing this on your own?
No, it's definitely bonding.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like, hey, we need to go fix this, or hey, come help me change the oil. And I'd be like, oh, cool. Like, all right, what do you do here?
So I know I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but do you do that now with him on your fleet of cars?
Not really. Like, he still just fixes stuff in his own driveway. Like, he's got a really small, regular one-car garage, but he still fixes everything in the driveway. And that's how I grew up doing everything.
Have you rubbed off on him? Does he have a cool car now? Let me guess, a Hyundai.
So I gave him an R129. I gave him an R129 SL500 as a retirement gift 2 years ago.
Look at you, man.
Because he had like an old Volvo, like an S80 T5, like or T6, the twin turbo one. And then he's got my grandma's old, like mint, like, 60,000 kilometer, like 2003 Camry. So he's got that as well because she can't drive anymore.
So, okay, now let's fast forward. How do we meet Yuri?
High school, grade 9, year 2000. And now we are in 2026. I've known him more than half my life.
And so you guys, you car guys, you became parents together. You started the business together.
We became parents separately at the same time.
Well, I mean, Toronto, baby.
Let's just clarify that.
It's 2026 there. Okay, so how do you go from just being like friends that I'm assuming you both identified you were car guys at that point?
Yeah.
How do you go like, okay, we're going to start shooting cars and throw it up on YouTube?
We did shithead stuff together in high school with cars, and that was our bond outside of snowboarding and stuff like that.
What qualifies as shithead stuff?
Ripping burnouts and donuts and stuff in parking lots in the winter, usually. That's how a lot of our
But don't all
driving.
Canadians do that?
Not really.
Every Canadian I know, and that includes women, they do that.
You know some cooler Canadians then.
Well, I do know some cool Canadians.
All of my friends did, but that's also why they're my friends. Yeah, so I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we did growing up. And then we went our separate ways for, college and university and stuff. And then I was working an office job, and I was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. Like, I can't just sit at this desk job.
What was the office job?
It was actually, so I went to school for environmental management. And so I have a degree from the University of Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked at a conservation authority for 8 years out of university.
I don't see you as an environmental kind of guy.
I don't, how do I put this? I love the environment, but it's like, you got to be realistic about everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to, throw trash on the ground and stuff like that. Like, I'm not going to dump my oil down the drain. I'm not going to do anything dumb like that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, cars, as much as like some people say that, cars are huge contributors to whatever climate change and all that, man, there's so many bigger things that it doesn't matter.
I find, of course, you and I probably have discussed this last night, but I find myself getting into politics more and more. And it's not because I want to get into politics, and for the avoidance of doubt, people will say, stay in your lane. And what I will say back is, I was in my lane, and politics collided into my lane.
It's true.
Kind of like the old tree jumped out at me. The old tree in this case was named politics. So I find it fascinating you got into environment. So where do you get back to where Yuri, what's he doing if you're doing environmental studies or environmental after studies?
He's doing film industry stuff. So he was actually one of the first, he wrote a Segway and a gimbal, and he was like one of the first people to like do that in the film industry, because I guess prior to that, you would have to set up tracks and have like dollies and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like one of the first that was like, oh, wow, we can get these crazy dynamic shots. So he did that and drone stuff. kind of at the same time when drone stuff was like new. And so that's what he was doing for a while. And then
Was he always a camera geek?
yeah, and so was I. That's also like I would film skateboarding, snowboarding, all that stuff. That's what Yuri and I would do in high school. I did it even in grade school. My parents bought me like a Sony Handycam type thing. I was probably like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And, you know, filming skateboard stuff. Like I find a lot of the people that I meet in this industry that are camera people, they're all like old skateboarder, BMXer, snowboarders, because like you just have to figure everything out.
There's definitely a DIY
Yes.
aspect. 'Cause, you know, we were just joking about this. We're setting up at 6 a.m. to do a podcast in rocking chairs in front of basically what's a trailer while the sun is coming up behind us, and people think our lives are glamorous.
Which parts of it are, but then there's
Then there's this.
yeah. But it's still glamorous. Like look at the background here. Like this is unreal.
We have a track behind us.
Yeah.
We were screaming on this track yesterday, and it is a magnificent place. Like,
oh yeah.
a little bit behind the scenes here. The last time I came to, you're gonna laugh at me. Last time I came to this track was for a Fiat launch, a BART. That's how long ago.
Okay.
So I did 160 horsepower on this thing, and then jumped into 500 yesterday.
Yep.
That was quite a shift. Anyway, back to Yuri. So I always knew he had this camera bug more than other people.
Yep.
Would it be fair to say that I think you guys brought unusual production, not this like crazy, like high level Top Gear, but you brought, let's call it Walmart Top Gear to the table.
Sure. I know exactly what you're saying, and I totally agree with you.
Is that true? Because that's what I saw.
Yeah, that was our thing in the beginning. Like we both loved the camera stuff, and we're like, how could we set ourselves apart from anything else? We're like, quality, because like we don't write scripts, we're not actors, we're not any of that stuff. So it's like, what can we do that we like? And like obviously we both like cars, and we both like cameras. So it's like, why don't we just bring this production value to YouTube that at the time many people weren't doing. It wasn't easy to do.
So what year did you start? I forgot actually.
Well, so I actually started my personal channel the year YouTube started, which I think is 2006.
2005 it started, yeah.
And so I, posted dumb stuff, right? As everybody did. But 2012 is when I started the straight pipes as a just exhaust sound channel, intake and exhaust sounds.
So you one of these like kids go to Cars and Coffee and get the cars going in and out and driving in.
No, I wasn't that. I was, again, the quality side of production.
No shame to that game, by the way.
Yeah, no. I would, mount GoPros, and I was like slightly obsessive about the sound quality, because what drove me to that is modifying cars. So I got into modifying cars and shopping for parts like intakes, exhaust and stuff. You'd go on YouTube when YouTube was fresh and try and find exhaust clips of like, oh, what does that exhaust sound like? What does this one sound like? And there was nothing at the time of high quality. It was like, people filming at the time vertically with their cell phones, that it was being transcribed horizontally terribly. Cell phone technology at the time was also terrible. And so you get these people laughing in the background, wind noise and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm going to eliminate all of that stuff, and I'm just going to make a high quality exhaust video so that if you're shopping for that exhaust, you will know what that sounds like.
And was there ever like this watershed moment with Yuri, hey, let's bring you in to do this? Or was it you just sitting over dinner like, hey, this might be a good idea?
There was. And so I started doing that stuff, and it took off. Like some videos went viral. And I started to, so the first cars all came from like friends and stuff like that. And then I was like, how do I get those like new cars, right? Like how do I go to places like this and see those articles, and like how does that exist? So I started to reach out to dealers, and a Ford dealer gave me a Focus ST.
Nice car.
Yeah.
Really a good car.
And I was like, damn, like, he's like, yeah, take the keys, bring it home tomorrow. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I get to take this home? Like, I thought I was just going to film it around the dealership. I'm like, all right. So I knew Yuri was doing this, and he was actually filming for MotoManTV at the time. So Brad, I don't know if you know him.
Yep.
Probably do. And so he
came out to Targa.
So he was just a camera guy on MotoManTV. And so I was like, Yuri, I got this car. Let's just go film a higher quality version of my exhaust video. And so we did that. We had like a drone shot and stuff like that. And then because Yuri was on that and I was doing this, I'm like, why don't we just review these cars ourselves? Like, why don't we just make actual
And this is in 2012.
Some sort of timeline around there, like post that, because I
So
started.
you're an adult. You're out of college. You're making some money.
Yes.
You got your own car.
And I'm working on the side at like weekends and weeknights.
Yeah.
I still have the office job. And so this was my like outlet, right? And so we basically just did that with our personal cars. So the first review is Yuri's Honda Element. Second review is my Lexus ISF.
Well, you had a good car.
I did, because I sold. Well, we can go through the car history. I actually probably don't remember all of it.
We will go through the car history.
Okay. Yeah, that was my dream car at the time, because I was like, I had an IS350. I drove somebody's ISF, or I heard the exhaust sound. I'm like, well, now I hate my car.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I got to, I don't know, borrow some money and buy an ISF.
So, parallel universe. Ask me what my first press loan was.
What was your first press loan?
An ISF.
Wow.
Yep.
Damn. So 2008.
It was a 9.
Okay. All right.
It was a 9.
Because mine was an 08. So that's, yeah. Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that car?
I loved it. So I think you know this about me. I'm kind of into JDM stuff.
Yep.
Because I grew up at a time when you got into Japanese cars. So I've had 2 of the trifecta. I've had the RX-7 and I've had the Supra. I have yet to get the Z. I am going to get a Z32 at some point.
Okay.
Hopefully before the nice ones get too expensive. Although one recently sold with like 8,000 miles for $106,000. Brand new in the wrapper.
What about Skyline?
You know what? So Matt and I are friends, and Matt had one. And I remember he bought it for like $3.
Oh, yeah.
And then he sold it for $60.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, what? I got to be honest with you. I like them and respect them, but at 60 and above, and they're no longer 60, there's other cars I would put that money to.
I'm with you.
You know?
Yeah.
I think Matt bought his for like 35 or something.
Yeah, yeah.
At 35, I would do that.
Yep.
So I'm really into Japanese cars.
Okay.
And I never thought of the concept of how good can a Japanese, in that case, M3 be? And granted, it had limitations.
Oh, yeah.
Magnificent car. I mean, Yaguchi-san was his name, the engineer on that car.
Oh, okay.
I met him. I did an
Cool.
episode of RCF with him, and great sense of humor and crazy smart. Anyway, so first car's ISF, what did he have?
Honda Element.
The Honda, oh
Yep.
God. Yeah, he does like some weird crap, doesn't
He needed it for the film industry.
That's true. It's a great box.
It was full of bags, these Pelican cases that some of these cameras are standing.
Does he still work in the film industry today?
I mean, technically, yes.
Does he?
No,
take jobs?
He when I quit, he quit in solidarity.
Well, you guys are good friends.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
we've been doing this for a while.
So, okay, now I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. Something I'm learning about you. You're an unusually good father.
Oh, well, thank you.
And we're going to get to this. We're going to have an example of this. But I kind of now understand why you're a good father. Because it sounds like your dad invested in you. Not like he gave you money. He's like, we're going to go out to the yard and fix whatever this Polish Fiat is. And we're going to do it together.
Yeah.
And we're going to get busted knuckles together, which I can't think of a better way to build character than do that. And it sounds as if at the handoff part, where like my nephews, they're kind of going through it now where they're getting older. My 16-year-old nephew got his driver's license. He's slaying the ladies with his mother's 2013 Nissan Murano SL.
Hell yeah.
Leather seats, power moonroof.
Oh,
Got a girlfriend now. So it seems at that point in your life, Yuri comes in and you guys develop this bond which now lasts half your life.
Yeah.
Huge function of like kind of the person you are.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my
cool observation. Yeah.
That's my observation of that. Okay, so while we're on the topic, you are now a parent.
Yes, of a 4 turning 5-year-old son.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been super fun.
Did you guys meet girls together at the same time?
No, no. It might have been at the same like timeline, but totally separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's recount the story of the drive from the GTA to Orlando and what you did in Orlando.
Okay.
So what happened on the drive?
Okay.
And what did you do in the destination or area of Orlando?
Okay, so this was last year. Yeah, last year. During March break, or I guess you guys call it spring break. We were like, we want to go somewhere warm. My wife wanted to go. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's go to Florida. Because again, when I was growing up, my parents would take me down to Florida. And they also told me some fun stories where they, the first car they took us in, it might have been a Datsun. No AC.
Excuse me, a what?
Datsun.
A Datsun.
Yes.
Kind of like a Mazda?
Datsun's Nissan.
Datsun.
Oh. All right, I see.
Yeah, they're Canadian. Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to get into Harvey's In and Out.
Oh,
later.
God.
We're going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they did it with like no AC, and I was, young. They're like, yeah, we only did it no AC once.
Eastern Europeans, man, they're tough. They're a different stock.
And so I was like, you know what? Like, I want to give my son those same memories. And
No air conditioning?
no, slightly more convenient this time. But the drive to Florida, like we could have flown.
Yeah.
But we drove. And so I, mentally I was like, what car's got really good lane keep assist? It's got, pretty good room for all of our luggage and everything like that. And, because of the industry that we're working, like we have the privilege of like, hey, can I have this car for this reason? And more often than not, they'll say yes. And so I was like, Hyundai Santa Fe, because Hyundais have really good lane keep assist that doesn't track your eyes and doesn't bother you, right? So I was like, let's just go with that. So Hyundai Santa Fe was the choice. I was actually going to go for a hybrid, but I think I ended up with the turbo one. I don't know if it was because of booking reasons, I forget, but I'm actually glad that we didn't get the hybrid because I think it did 1,000 kilometers to a tank, and our bladders did not last that long. So the bladder limit was the tank limit, roughly. And, a 3-year-old, like you got to stretch his legs and everything like that. Like you feel bad. He's in his, he was in the, he wasn't in a booster yet. He was in like the smaller chair, which is less comfortable. And so we drove down. It took 2 days. I think the first day we made it down to North Carolina or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas. And then the rest of the trip was pretty easy the next day. But we wanted to limit my son's like screen time. We do that at home anyways. All this, as much as social media is my job, like I would stay off it if I could.
God bless you, man.
I only do it because I have to.
Yeah.
Sorry to anyone consuming our social media, but long form, great, like this.
Yes.
Short form, terrible.
Yes.
Sorry to all the short form creators as well, because there's some cool ones here as well. But consuming it is, oh God. Anyways, stay on topic.
Today's podcast episode is with Forrest Jones, I'd like to point out.
Dude, again, great content for what he does and the people consuming it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Also a great parent.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we wanted to limit his screen time and stuff. So my wife basically bought a bunch of stuff at like the dollar store and everything, put in a backpack, and he didn't see anything until we got on the trip. So like 45 minutes into the trip, because we left super early, he's like, why is Florida so far? Like, buddy, we just started this trip. So we crossed over to the States. The United States border agent recognized me from the straight pipes. I'm like, oh, this is wild. I'm like, just said hello, thank you for watching and all that stuff. He's like, welcome. So that was pretty cool. My wife always likes to see that, and she's like, oh, okay, another person recognized you. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so, we drove down, limited screen time.
At least my experience, it's never attractive women that recognize you. It's always dudes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Always dudes.
Yeah. And so no screen time and everything like that. It was great. He loved it, just coloring books and random things and sing songs and listening to audiobooks. And,
so is mom sitting in the back seat with him, like coloring with him?
Sometimes. She was actually mostly in the front seat.
Yeah.
Maybe towards the end or something like that. If he was getting a little cranky, she would move to the back.
Yeah.
But it was an overall 10 out of 10.
See, he told me this last night. 2 nights ago. I was blown away by this because so many people don't do this. And I have a mat on with the whole screens in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Because it takes away from that road trip experience.
Oh, for sure.
Like you got dragged from Toronto down to Florida. I got dragged from New York out to Wisconsin. And it was exactly that.
Okay.
Granted, there were siblings in there as well. But there's something character building about that.
You got to suffer a little.
Yeah. And even now, like my nephews, their mother, and I'd like to point out, I'm not the one that made this up, but her father calls her the warden.
Okay.
No joke. And now we all call her the warden because she limits their screen time to 30 minutes a day shared. Shared. And on the weekends, they get an hour shared. And as a result, they can sit here and have a conversation with you. So this is what you have to look forward to.
Right.
So now they're 11 and 16. The 11-year-old, he and I are literally picking out ETFs for him to invest his money he made selling lemonade.
Good for him. Good for you.
So I'm happy to offer this as Uncle George to you.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
So, okay. You're a parent now, and Yuri's a parent too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got 2 kids now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea how mature he is.
No comment.
I met you guys, so if I remember correctly, I met you guys on the Kia Stinger.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
2017. Or was it 18 that did the drive?
Oh, man. I think
It
that
was in L.A.
Yeah. I think that was our first U.S. press trip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You came down and it was that orange one.
Red.
No, I shot the orange one.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason,
I think we had a red one.
I did like 1.2 million on that video on a Kia Stinger. I couldn't believe it.
That was let's call that old YouTube.
That is all exactly
Because we also got crazy views on that kind of stuff.
Because it was
when you
a straight
could.
pipe. See what I did there?
Yes,
But
yes.
I'm being all
Actually,
week.
We did do an exhaust video separate to that at the time. Just exhaust when you could do that. Because I don't know if you remember, they had one with a modified exhaust at that like amusement park place. Yeah. We turned that autocross course into a drift course. It was so much fun because we at the time, actually, I don't even remember if we ever did. We didn't get rear wheel drive Stingers back home. We only got all wheel drive.
I could believe that. Yeah.
So we were like, let's just let loose. So
Yeah.
Yuri took out a bunch of cones. I still remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I'll give you a little inside baseball on the algorithm now. So now YouTube is ridiculous with
Yes,
the
it is.
algorithm. However, this medium of podcasting, still straight pipe. Everything but YouTube. So like the downloads, I'm like 10, 20x what the YouTube views are.
Whoa.
It's crazy the difference.
For like Spotify and whatever.
All of them. And
Cool.
each one of them are 10, 20x.
Wow.
It's a crazy difference.
Okay.
Anyway, so where's the business now? Because you guys have been doing this for a while. You're kind of, I mean, as far as Canada is concerned, it's you and the other guys, and that's it.
Yeah. Austin Throttle House. That's it.
And you've become...
Well, to be fair, let me just give credit. Our friend Zach on the West Coast as well. He's doing really well. Zach and Andrea, Motormouth.
Oh, love those guys.
I got to give credit.
Love those guys.
Yeah.
Love Andrea more than Zach. Yeah, but they do a great job.
Yeah.
You know what I watch, and I feel like it's like one of those weird YouTube things. They sit in the car and they just talk,
Yes.
sitting in the car, not about reviewing the car. It's
Right.
like, hey, this is what's going on.
Yes.
And it's like watching a married couple kind of disagree. It's a great, anyway.
That's also what Yuri and I do.
You're a married couple arguing?
Oh, like that's what it seems like. Yeah. People say that a lot.
But, you know, the point I'm trying to make here is you guys started with a disadvantage. And I would say all of you did.
100%.
You know, Zach, you, and anybody else out there that's doing cars, because you have less cars.
Yes.
The cars you get are not nearly what we get in like B-tier cities. So you are studying at a disadvantage. How do you go from we are at this disadvantage to now you're like royalty, man. Like we went on a BMW International Drive together and they loved you. You're on every Corvette thing.
Well, yeah, I got to say thank you to the Corvette team.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of a junkie with Corvettes.
I've turned into one accident.
Yeah.
We
So-
can get to that.
What would you attribute that to? Where you started, you know, guys like me, we had an advantage in being in LA. You had a disadvantage, but you leapfrogged everybody.
I think it's just that thing. Like, as a Canadian, like you just have to be scrappy. Like you have to work with what you have and make the best of it. That's really been all my life. If
So-
I think about it.
Polish immigrant thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah, you just work with what you have basically. So, you know, we started with a Honda Civic, a Hyundai Veloster, and we just did what we could with those cars.
Decent car.
Yeah. So like I said, we started with used cars, and then once we got big enough, and some of the companies started to see the value of it. And again, we were starting out at a time where newspapers were still priority and all that's print media. And so getting us out to an event was like, oh man, this is a huge deal. So it took I would say like a year or two of like solid like grinding of like trying to get whatever we could before we got like an invite to an event. And there was this guy at Honda, Alan, I got to give him a shout out. He was like one of the people who kind of explained the industry to us. And he's like, look, I see what you guys are doing. Just keep doing it. There's a quality to this. There's something different about this. Just keep it up. People are going to hate you.
Did he specifically focus on your film quality is unique, or was it you guys have this unique camaraderie, which we can see that's lasted many years?
I think it was just everything. Like we had the package at the right time. Timing is kind of a lot in this industry. At least that's what it seemed like. And he just kind of believed in us, and so he gave us an opportunity, and he invited us to the Civic Type R launch.
Oh, that's a good start.
That's exactly.
That's great especially for you guys.
We got the email. I called Yuri. I'm like, did you see this? He's like, yeah. I'm like, we're going. And so that was our first event.
You start at the top kind of.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. That was cool.
So what was the inflection point in terms of, so Honda noticed, but the inflection point of, wow, it's really started to go like this in terms of like a hockey sticking of views? Because that's usually what happens.
Yeah. Trying to think. I don't really know. It was, we didn't really go like viral necessarily, but
videos I saw went viral.
We always kind of prioritize like steady growth over everything. And I guess like we're trying to do this until we can no longer do this. You know what I mean? So we're not trying to game views or play any weird games or do anything ridiculous. Like we're just trying to kind of do the same thing at the same rate for as long as we can, basically. But I'm trying to think if there was like a real inflection point. It's hard to say. It was just just the steady, like,
yeah.
We did force ourselves on a schedule, which maybe that helped. So we're going to do 2 videos a week, no matter what. And that's what we did for the last, I guess, probably 10 years now.
I gotta believe that's super difficult in Ontario.
Have you filmed in the winter in snow?
Never. I've only
It sucks.
It blows.
It is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I've done it like at ice academies.
Oh yeah,
which is
that's
designed
pleasant.
for that.
Yes, that's pleasant. No, you got to film in slush, sleet, hail, snow, rain. It's the worst.
Does that help for the views?
No, it hurts because
it hurts the views, yeah.
Well, yeah, people from here, if they see a thumbnail with snow on it, cool, next, right? That's this whole market.
Have you noticed Jack and Mark?
Yeah.
Their thumbnails, they live in Illinois.
Yes.
And they don't live in Chicago. They live in the sticks. And their thumbnails look like the Midwestern summer on a lake.
Yeah.
Even in December.
They love their sunsets.
They love their sunsets.
Yeah.
They definitely love it.
Shout out Jack and Mark.
Great guys.
Yes. I went to Jack's wedding.
You went to good man.
Yeah.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Really good dude.
We talk a lot.
Yeah. He's also Corvette guy.
Yes.
And he understands the business too. Both of them really understand the business.
Yeah.
Mark and I hadn't met him through like he doesn't go on a lot of events. Jack goes on the events.
Yes. Jack's younger, doesn't have a child yet, so like I totally understand where those guys are coming from. Like I just want to go home to my kid right now too.
That's something I did learn about. I thought that was interesting, and we'll get to that. I want to get to, but the point about Mark, I hadn't met him on like I met you on an event, and I saw a video come up of his where he talked about car debt is bad, debt is bad, and as far as I knew, I was the only one saying that.
Okay.
So I had a mutual friend introduce us, and we connected on we're both ridiculous debt Nazis.
Did you do a podcast with him at an auto show?
We did.
I watched that.
Yes. It was literally 3 guys complaining for 3 hours and did a ridiculous amount of views.
Yeah,
I'd like to point out, I called Mark to his face on that podcast, the Eeyore automotive reviewer.
Okay.
Yes. But I still love him.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Mark's the best.
Okay, so now we're mature. Now you made a couple of bucks.
Yep.
You guys both have a couple of cars. Questionable choices with Yuri. has anything changed? Like, do you, like, I know for like you pay somebody to deliver the cars now.
Yes, we actually have to pay for that in Canada.
I found that fascinating.
Oh yeah.
Because with us, they deliver them like a pizza, or we pick them up at the airport. Where you don't even get to pick them up at the airport. You have to go to the guy that's around the corner from the airport. So what kind of things have you changed now that you guys are kind of a known quantity? You've become mature and you're old parents.
Okay, so kids were the inflection point for a lot of changes for us internally, I guess. We wanted to spend more time with our kids. And so we kind of scaled things back. We went to less events and things like that.
By design.
Yeah.
So even if it's a Civic Type R, a new Porsche, you're like, I'm staying home.
We're very selective, which is why I'm here. If this was a Fiat 500 launch, I wouldn't be here.
They did have the girl from the commercial there, so to my credit.
And so it's pretty funny.
We did a video with her.
Okay.
Actually, I'll probably put a clip up about it. Like we got her to like run her hands through my hair and say something like, "Oh, in Italian, oh MotoMan, like you are super powerful," or something like that.
Wow.
Like the guy from Fiat got her to say that.
Wow.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
I don't think you could pull that off today.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so we made some changes. We hired a full-time editor, which is actually Yuri's brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So keep it in the family.
Yeah. He wasn't an editor by trade. We just made him an editor.
Drafted him.
Yeah. So that's
how long ago was that? Because
that was when we had kids, so like 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, only 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You guys were doing all the editing yourself? Okay.
We still do everything else ourselves, and we still finish every single edit. He just does 90 to 95% of the edit.
Yes.
So the cut and everything, and the inserting, and like, you know, he's a car guy, but he's not a car guy like us. So you might make some mistakes here and there. We might want to put our special touch on it and fix a couple things here and there. So we still finish and upload every single edit.
So a little bit, I think we should share it behind the scenes. I don't know about how you feel about this, but editing, there we go.
We got some Corvettes in the background.
Oh, so the school is starting.
Ah, perfect.
So you guys are going to hear.
Beautiful.
So you will see why we're here. We're proving it. I don't know how you feel about this. Like, I've become a good editor, but I don't love editing. It is the least favorite part of what I do.
Agree.
Because it's kind of like the last mile problem. It's like you're the guy working at a telephone company and you're the guy that has to put up the telephone poles.
Yes.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's, again, I at first I probably enjoyed editing, but I kind of gradually stopped enjoying it.
Yeah, it's like the mail. It just never stops.
Yes.
Like last night, I'm up till 3 a.m. getting the edit ready for my editor because the embargo on this thing is crazy.
The embargo's nuts.
So I had to do half the edit for him to make sure he finishes it today.
Yeah, I sent everything off to our editor, and I still have to film some stuff.
When I grow up, I want to be you, man. This is great. So, you know what we glossed over? How did you meet your wife, and is she a car guy?
I met her just at a party. Actually, the weird Corvette connection, but it was a good friend of mine who had a C3 Corvette. Sorry, Sean, if you're watching. That car was an absolute piece of garbage. Beautiful. Wow, 1980. Sean.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of its own way. Wow. Yeah. Please tell me it was like the taupe and the brown, the two-tone?
No. It was like, actually, he got it repainted, but it was silver.
Oh, so at least it wasn't this horrible.
No, it looked great.
Yeah.
Performance was not there.
No.
We did a couple, races here and there with my 1996 Ford Escort with 88 horsepower. Neck and neck. I was like, Sean, what the hell is this?
That's embarrassing. And
I did not like Corvettes until I got to drive a Press C7, and then I bought a C6 Z06. That's like a 20-year gap of me hating Corvettes because of that C3.
So this was like, it's almost like you're an abusive relationship. You still remember the abusive relationship. You finally went to therapy, and now you're in a good relationship.
I guess so.
Yeah. Wait, so we 20 years.
I guess, yeah.
See, I was that way with Porsche. I thought Porsches were douchebag cars. And I was always a Lotus guy, and that was my abusive relationship.
Okay.
Like, it shouldn't be a problem that the window doesn't go down. The roll-down window for like a couple days just doesn't want to go down. Or like even a new one, like I had an Amira, and the trunk decides, you know what, today, not going to open. Forget that you have your jacket in here.
Yep.
Just not going to open. It's that kind of stuff. And then I was taught, kind of like when you use C7, I was taught how to drive a 911 properly, and I never looked back.
Yeah, getting to drive 911s was an interesting point in my life. I was like, wow, okay, I fully understand these things.
Get it.
But I will say, and this is my hot take, which everyone's probably going to hate me for, they're too clinical, and I don't want to own any 911 ever. They're too good.
Okay, so nice chatting with you and a podcast. Wow.
I need some drama.
Oh, so you want the perfectly imperfect.
Yeah,
That's
the Corvette,
what you want.
right? It has to have a sketch factor.
I don't think the C8 has a sketch factor.
I don't own a C8.
Good point.
Although, you turn off the PTM,
Oh, yes.
it's got sketch factor.
So you and I are one of the few that got to drive the 01X.
Yes.
And one of the things I love about that car, it can be a GTR, not that perfect. It can be sort of GTR-esque, meaning it can make you look like a hero.
Oh, yeah.
But change the buttons, and you can have a Viper.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's what I love about that car.
Exactly. I got to do donuts in that thing until the tires, there was nothing left.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fantastic.
All of us here at MotoMan are super excited to not only have the podcast back, but for it to be its own show. And there, we look to you for a little assistance. Can you help us grow the show? Two really easy ways to do that. First and foremost, if you're reaching out via YouTube or other streaming platforms, you click on subscribe, notifications, or more importantly, share these episodes with your friends, especially on Reddit. Now, if you're downloading these episodes, listening via podcast platforms, we'd ask you to rate us. The good stars are wonderful, but leaving a written review would be even better, especially sharing who was your favorite guest. So with that, I am incredibly grateful for your assistance in help growing this. And now, back to the episode.
Okay, bit behind the scenes, we did a company move.
Yeah, sunglasses on now.
This is what happens when you do this with Zero Dark 30.
Yes, the sun's literally just changing every second.
Yeah, so this is probably not going to be the prettiest looking podcast, but we do have a racetrack. Did we say we have a racetrack?
Yes, we do.
We also
those
know-
mountains.
Mountains are stunning.
Yeah.
I do love the American West.
Oh, yeah, this is so cool.
I was blown away. So when I was 15, my family, we went on a trip to this magical place called California. It was 75 and sunny all year round. They're handing out convertibles and blondes at the airport. And I'm like, I need to move here. But then I went home and they told me the ground moves. And I'm like, I'm never going there again.
Yeah.
And it took me 20 years to come back.
Okay.
Anyway, so back to this ridiculousness.
Yes, 911s.
I totally get, I call it perfectly imperfect, which is why I love, and I think you're going to agree with this statement, the Elantra N.
Yeah.
It is so imperfect,
It's great.
but that's what makes it perfect.
Yeah.
And I also love the C7.
Yep.
But the C7 is, to the Corvette world, what the 991 was to the Porsche world. The 991 moved the engine an inch forward. Doesn't sound like a lot. Transformed the car. C7, Taj famously got his budget pulled, no mid-engine. So Taj pissed and moaned for a while, according to Bob Lutz. But then he's like, you know what? He did the whole go across the street and beat them thing. When
Nice.
someone says no to you, fine, I'm just going to go across the street and beat you. And so what he did was, I'm just going to move the engine back. And that car became a little bit more perfect. Would you agree or not agree?
I mean, I only drove a C7 Z06. I found that to be pretty sketchy. It was so fast.
Oh, that's to a level because of the speed.
Yes.
But dynamically, it was so much better than Corvettes that came before it.
Well, when I drove the C7 Z06, I didn't really have experience with those because I bought a C6 Z06 sight unseen. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just buy a Corvette because we did a partnership with eBay and we were looking for like a cool car for a build series. I'm like, oh, Z06 looks cool. I've never sat in one. I've never driven one. I'll just buy this yellow one from Alberta. And I sat in it, drove it. I'm like, Yuri, this car is incredible.
Why Alberta?
It was the cheapest one in Canada. It's $49.5 Canadian.
But how much money did it take to get it to you?
It's probably like $1,500 in shipping.
Okay, and it's still saved money. It's still was cheaper than getting in New
Oh,
York
yeah.
province.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was nothing else
Yeah.
like remotely close to that price at the time.
So this is, I think, a good opportunity as the sun like bathes over my face. Let's talk about your car resume.
Okay.
We pick up from the ISF. Where do we go from there?
Ooh, okay. What did I have? Okay, so we kind of have to backtrack. So starting the channel, I had the ISF, which again was super cool, basically dream car at the time. Very expensive. I think I paid around 30 grand for it. That was the most I've ever spent on a car.
Were you making money at that point in your environmental job? Could you afford it? Or were you like most car guys and just...
I very much stretched to get that car. Very much stretched. I shouldn't have owned that car, but I'm glad I did. And so we were starting the channel, and I was quitting my job, and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't have that much money in the bank right now. I need some cushion to pay this mortgage just in case things go south when I quit my job.
Wait a minute. Let's not drive past this.
Okay.
Like, how old are you now?
I just turned 40.
Oh, look, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
You've done a lot in 40 years.
guess.
Two of you. So when did you buy a house in Toronto or outside of Toronto? How old were you?
Good question. I don't really remember. Maybe.
It's got to be a couple years now.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like now I'm in my second house. I think I lived there for probably around 8 years.
Okay, so this is quite an accomplishment and quite a statement as to what you guys built in terms of a business, because you both own a house.
Yes.
I am from New York. I've lived in Munich, London, and LA. Very expensive cities.
Yeah.
But Toronto is right there.
Toronto's insanely expensive.
More than some of the cities I mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Yet you have been able to buy a home at a relatively young age. What would you attribute that to, going from I'm putting myself in debt, ass out, to buy an SF? What changed?
Nothing really. I've always saved my money. I've always been pretty good about my money.
Mm-hmm.
The ISF, like I said, was a stretch, and like I said, it was kind of a stupid stretch, but I'm glad I did it. But I've always been good with saving money. That's why, like, I didn't have the coolest car in high school. I had a hand-me-down Ford Escort, and I was like, all right, it is what it is. I did buy, many cars after that, but they were also pretty cheap. Like,
is this a thing where did your Polish immigrant father sit you down and say, this is how you balance a checkbook, this is how you handle debt, this is how you handle or stay away from debt? What actually happened?
I mean, they never really sat me down for anything like that. I think I just watched what they did and what they were able to do with what they have. And it was just like, they came as immigrants, didn't have money, and they bought a house. It's like, wow, this is cool.
So you learned through watching them,
I think
actions.
so.
It wasn't them sitting down and saying, here, help me write the checks every month.
No, absolutely not.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming your kid's not old enough for this now, but are you going to spend some time and try to educate him in it?
Oh, I'm already doing it.
How so?
He's got a piggy bank. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So my latest favorite thing, not exactly money related, but I taught him what a deal was. So I'll make you a deal. Finish your chicken, finish your broccoli, and I'll give you some M&Ms. He loves M&Ms and things like that, obviously, as a kid. So now he makes me deals. Daddy, I'll make you a deal. I'm like, oh, here we go. I want to hear what this is. You watch your show on TV, and then I watch my show on TV. I'm like, huh.
Well, he's like, he's a mobster.
Yeah. He's really good. He's a
Wait,
smart
this kid's
kid.
4?
Yeah.
And he figured this out.
Oh, yeah.
That unbelievable.
I died laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's a good deal. I'll take you up on that deal.
All from a piggy bank.
Well, partially. And so, the piggy bank stuff we'll put in there, and like, if you do this, we'll give you $1 or whatever. And like, we try and sort of explain money. Like, oh, this one's big. Like, we still have, a physical, not paper dollar.
Yeah.
What's that? A coin. Thank you. And then we have a quarter and things like that. So I'm like, this one's bigger than this one. This one is more money than this one. It's like, if you have more of this one, you can buy more Hot Wheels. You could buy more Paw Patrol stuff or whatever it is. So it's like, we're trying to explain that money can buy things. So if you save money, you can have more things. And I'm trying to get him to understand the concept of like, do you want $1 right now to buy one Hot Wheels, or let's put this in your piggy bank and we'll save it, and we can save it for another time where maybe I'll give you an extra $1 for something else, and now you can buy 2 Hot Wheels.
So have you gotten to the point of explaining there's really only 3 things you can do with money? Spending, saving, and giving. Have you gotten to that third one?
Not really, not yet.
But
Yeah.
you'll get there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, man, you are a wealthy man, and I don't mean with money.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
At 4 years old, the kid understands this.
Yeah, it seems like it. He's starting to.
Okay, so let's get back to your junkie side. Now that
Okay,
everyone
yes.
knows there's some substance to you. ISF.
Sold that to get a GS 430 for $5,000. Okay, so
Okay, save some money
puts 25 grand in the bank.
so you can go and buy a house. I'm assuming that's what.
No, I had the house, but I had to continue to pay the mortgage just in case YouTube didn't work out.
Yes.
Because when we quit our jobs, we saw the trajectory of like, hey, this could work out. But at the time, we only made enough money for us to buy 1 laptop each. Like we're talking $5,000. And we're like, let's quit our jobs. Psychopaths, right? But we saw the trajectory of a couple
But could
videos.
you eat on the money you were making from YouTube when you quit
No,
your job?
God no.
So you were just living off of savings.
Yes.
Man, you guys were suicidal.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those. We got to a point where we got invited to enough events that I used up all my vacation time and all that stuff. And like, I guess the real inflection point for me for quitting my job was we got invited to Mercedes AMG performance driving thing, kind of like this, on Vancouver Island. I'm like, holy shit, they're gonna let me drive an AMG GT. I'm like,
Very
what?
technical track too.
Yeah, and I get to drive the whole AMG lineup, but I ran out of vacation time, and so I was like, I quit. Like, let's just figure this out. And so that's why I needed the 25 grand buffer just in case things don't work out. And that year, things thankfully worked out.
Oh, so it was less than a year of run rate where you were running in deficit.
Yes,
God bless you, man. That's awesome.
from the point of part time to full time. Yes,
Okay, so ISF GS30.
GS 430.
GS 430.
What did I have after that? Oh, Raptor. I bought my dream truck.
Oh, yes. I
Yeah.
remember that. I think that's when I met you.
Yeah, I had that for a while.
Yes, you did.
So I just actually traded in last
When
year.
did Yuri get the Prowler?
Why?
When? Oh, I know.
Around
I
that
know
same
why.
time. We both bought our
Both
dream
had your dream
cars.
cars, yeah.
Yeah. It was like a year or two.
I love
into-
you, Yuri, man. I love you, but
He knows. He knows all about the Prowler. Hey,
it's just, I mean, I get weird cars. But when there's no motivation behind them, there's no substance underneath.
that's not him. He likes the
He likes the
substance
fluff.
that you see. Well, that you see.
Okay. I mean,
Everyone's got their preferences.
there's an ass for every seat.
Hey, I get it. When I drove that car, I was like, damn, it's actually like better than I thought. Sorry, Yuri. Not the engine. The engine was garbage. But
Yeah.
I was like, this actually doesn't handle terribly. Like, yeah, it squeaks and rattles and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But like, you throw it into a turn,
Yeah.
like the suspension's not the worst.
I respect that they made it.
Exactly.
Like the fact that they made that in a modern car company.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of people, the crazy, God bless you, crazy people at Stellantis that do this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so
Raptor.
Raptor.
What did I get after the Raptor? It might have been, honestly, the order might be a little off, but yeah, it's probably a little off. I bought a Fox body Mustang.
Mm.
Yuri and I did a cheap car challenge for 1 million subscribers. That was our treat to ourselves. We're going to buy crappy cars for $5,000 and do a bunch of stuff with them. So the only requirement was we had to buy them with ridiculous paint jobs already. So mine was like rotted out Mustang with flames, purple, yellow, green flames on it.
Each got one.
Yes, he got a Civic. So he got a Civic with a flame paint job on it as well. Yeah. And we did a bunch of challenges. I won, obviously, because it's a Fox body Mustang with a 5-liter. And we had a lot of fun doing that. And then I accidentally turned that into a major several year long project, like paint job, engine, everything, wheels.
Did you go to like Matt's level where he made that crazy Fox body?
A little bit below that.
Yeah.
But I also, I guess he did body work too. Yeah, a little bit below that, I'd say.
Yeah. You've seen Rob's Fox body. Guy out in Pickering?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that car is
Yeah, no, I mine was below that.
unbelievable. It sounds What's interesting about that car, it's prettier underneath than it is up top. And the build is fantastic. Even the guy who built the engine actually went back in, and there was something wrong with the engine, redid it completely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dedication of that car.
Then I had a Fiesta ST, which Yuri and I also bought for another challenge for a sponsorship. So he got a Fiat 500 Abarth. So Fiesta ST versus Fiat 500.
You know what? I did like, not because I drove it here, but I did like that car.
The car was great.
It was super fun.
When it worked.
There's that.
He went through one engine and one transmission and barely owned and drove that car.
And no warranty, I'm assuming.
Oh, God, no. No,
yeah.
we don't buy... we review new cars. We don't buy new cars.
Yeah.
Actually, Yuri just did, so that's not true.
What did you buy?
Oh, God. He traded in his Prowler for a minivan. A Chrysler minivan.
Yuri. I mean, you couldn't have some self-respect. I get it. You know, the minivan, there's a practical, like you know, my nephews, their father loves minivans.
I grew up with a minivan,
and he
too.
used to be a professional snowboarder.
Yeah.
Like, he was in snowboard magazines. He was he'd have to beat the ladies off with a stick, and now he's driving a minivan.
Minivan?
Like on vacation.
Yeah.
But Yuri, RS6.
Oh, God, no. He wouldn't do anything like
Come
that.
on,
No.
now.
No.
Well, how about an E63?
No, he wouldn't do that.
Why not?
It's too good. He doesn't like good cars.
He doesn't like good cars.
No,
okay.
he openly admits that. Like, he just doesn't like
likes
good
trouble.
cars. He likes
Okay.
weird cars. He likes things that other people don't like.
But wouldn't you say that about all of us? We're all kind of weird about that in that way.
I guess, but like, I like... Once I realized that I can just continue buying V8s because V8s exist, why would I buy any other engine configuration? So I just like a good engine. I'll buy a car for an engine and a look as well.
Yeah.
I could care less about the interior.
So it sounds like Yuri, it's a mission for him. The mission, he needed the minivan for the mission, for 2 kids.
Yes.
That's the mission.
Yes.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, so then you did those challenge cars.
Yes. What else did I buy after that? Again, things out of order. The C6 Z06. That was incredible car. We bought it for 50 grand, dumped another 50 grand into it.
Wait a minute. We're not driving past 50 grand.
Including labor and repairs.
But it was you said that you did it with eBay, so there was it was a business thing. It wasn't like you have the most expensive Z06 on the planet.
No.
You made money on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't make money on putting the 50 and the 50 into it, but we made money from the whole partnership. So we knew there was going to be a loss selling it at the end of the day, which actually the intention was to just build that car and sell it. But then I absolutely fell in love with it. I'm like, Yuri, I can't sell this thing.
So, true or false, you were a Corvette guy before you started going on all these Corvette drives.
Completely false.
Completely false. Okay.
Yeah. I was not a Corvette guy.
I appreciate the honesty.
Well, because of that C3.
No, you said you'd driven one, the C7 Z06.
Didn't turn me into a Corvette guy.
Didn't turn you into a Corvette
The
guy.
C6 Z06 turned me into a Corvette guy.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
I really like that C7, but it didn't do it for me.
It didn't sway you at all.
No.
Okay, so then what happens after the C6 Z06?
Couple cars in between again. Had my son. Fell in love with the E63 wagon when we first drove it.
Fantastic choice.
Yeah.
You could learn from your friend.
We both love that car. That was our first like really fast car that we got to review. And so when it came time for me to buy one, because I was like, I want an AMG wagon, I bought an E55 AMG wagon because it was my budget version of that dream car. And so I imported that from Japan. So I had a JDM E55, left-hand drive. I owned that up until very recently. I sold that like 3 weeks ago.
Why do you like bringing cars from far away?
I don't know.
That's a thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't do it on purpose.
It just happens.
I can't turn down a good deal. I'll take a deal over like a local car that's 5 or 10 grand more, and I'll suffer through whatever it is.
You realize one of the oldest rules in the classic car world is buy the best car you can get.
I do the
because it will
opposite.
be cheaper in the long run.
Yes, I do the complete opposite. I have learned that, but I can't
resist.
No, I can't resist a good deal.
Yeah, I grew up in an immigrant family as well, so I totally understand.
Okay, good.
You
So I'm
need
not
the-
crazy.
It's all about. Oh, you're not crazy at all.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Totally understand. Okay, so then you had that SL, the one you gave your dad. Is that the one you had?
Yes.
And you gave it to him.
Yes.
When did that come in?
sometime in between all of that. I want to say like 3 years ago now.
And then where are we at now? Because I know you just sold something pretty important.
I sold a couple cars. So I traded in the Raptor for a 2018 F-150 5-liter because I needed to tow. Because I bought a C5, a cheap FRC, the cheapest one I could find. Because, but there was actual intention this time where I was going to turn it into a drift car. Because, doing all this stuff, I'm like, what do I have the most fun doing? I'm pretty good at lapping, but I don't enjoy it. Like, I don't care about shaving that last 10th off. I can do it, but it's not mental stimulation. It's like, oh, cool, whatever. Next one. Autocross. Could care less as well. I'm also pretty good at that. What I do like, shit hit stuff. Burnouts. Donuts. Turns out there's a sport that revolves around burnouts and donuts, and it's called drifting. I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? Thanks to partners like Continental Tire and other manufacturers and things like that, and all the other companies that support us. Very grateful. TSP. That's not the straight pipes. Texas Speed. We can get into the C5.
Okay.
And so I was like, why don't I just build a drift car? Like I love drifting. And turns out it's the best decision ever because the C6 was too nice to turn into a drift car. If that LS7 blew, that's 30 grand down the drain, right? 427. If my LS1 blows, I put a truck engine into it and who cares? Just send it. So I just modified my C5 recently in the last like 2 weeks, made 511 to the tire on an LS1 with 216,000 kilometers on it.
So you bring up a good point. You are different than like most drifters, amateur drifters, in that you're kind of playing with the house money. You're getting sponsorships. What was it, you or Yuri that kind of figured the business part of it out? Because you guys have been pretty good about the sponsorships.
Yeah.
Integrating them. Like
Yes.
Point out. Remember you did like, what was it, the thing you did with the boxes and you put the viewers
The box
in it?
test.
The box test. Yeah,
the Patreon.
That was a good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that one might have been Yuri's idea. But yeah, we're pretty good about that kind of stuff. We figured.
You jointly come up with this stuff?
Absolutely.
Yuri, because Yuri sounds like he's more responsible.
More responsible?
He drives a minivan. You drive a drift
He
car.
is the least responsible person. I'm basically his handler.
Give me 3 reasons why we would say that, because the man drives a minivan.
Okay, so let's just quick scenario. We're flying to the whatever event.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what state we're in. He has no idea what part of the country we're in. He doesn't know what time zone we're in. He has no idea what gate we're going to. I just have to he just follows me.
So you've described the absent-minded professor.
Sure, yeah.
Which explains the Prowler now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so now we've solved the mystery of Yuri.
Yeah, no, he'll spend a lot of money on dumb stuff. That isn't cars, right? That's his other hobbies and stuff.
Like, what's another hobby of his?
I don't know. He likes
Not cameras.
Pokemon cards or something like that.
You're kidding me.
I don't know. He likes all that, like old VHS tapes and VHS
Pokemon cards?
I don't know, like VHS tapes and players and Betamax stuff. Like this guy goes off the deep end on like weird collectible stuff.
So funny.
I don't understand that.
You guys are like, you are an old married couple. It's so funny.
No, I'll spend all my money on dumb stuff, which is car related.
It's I don't want to sound like an old man here, but it's a good idea to have a couple of different like outlets for your money to balance where it goes. This will serve you in time.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you're saying that the business side of it, like putting viewers' names on boxes, getting sponsorships, the way you in which you integrate them, and then use them for your hobby. You both came up with this.
Yes.
And when did this start happening?
Good question. We had sponsors reach out to us kind of, early on as we were growing.
And when I say a sponsors, like which tire company?
Continental Tire.
Continental, yeah. Continental type sponsorships, or, because I'm sure you get them just like I do, like, hey, we'd like to sponsor you for this robotic dog, which has nothing to do with what I do.
Yes.
So did you understand the difference in the value of those?
Oh, for sure.
And did you say no to those early on?
We said no to many of them. We took on some early on, and I'm still grateful for those, like, let's just say, like, Vincero watches.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, fully aware that I'm wearing a Rolex now,
Yeah.
but like, I still have those Vincero watches at home. I'm not going to forget that moment because we needed that money at that time. And, you know,
Oh, absolutely.
they were cool watches, and Yuri wore it to his wedding. Like, there's a time and a place for these things. Like,
Yeah.
it's a, you know, $200 watch and whatever. Like,
Have you always been a watch junkie? I never noticed this about you.
I guess, like, I grew up with, like, you know, G-Shocks and things like that.
Yeah.
Casios. But yeah, so anyways, we kind of just figured out, like, the small stuff and, like, put the weird sponsorships. Like, we don't need this. Like, I think we only did, like, one mobile game thing, but that was, like, legitimate because we're like, oh, this is like a car game. This is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so we did pretty much just that, and, like, nothing else strange. You know, everything was, like, car related.
Straight across the plate, but not a conflict of interest.
That's right.
So
yeah.
you wouldn't take an advertisement from Ford.
We haven't yet. I'm not saying we won't, but we have not yet.
Yeah. So do you have other watches?
I
Or is
do.
it- what do you got?
I also have a Datejust that I bought when my son was born.
Mm-hmm.
So that's he's not going to watch this podcast, so I can say it here. That's actually his watch.
I was just going to say he's going to negotiate you out of it.
No. That's his.
Good.
His initials and his birthday are engraved on the case back.
Dude, the more I get to know you, man, seriously, God bless you, man. You
Thank you.
are an amazing father.
Thank you. It's
That is incredible.
oh, sorry, I choked up, but because, like, we didn't come from money, and so, like, I just want to give my son. Sorry.
You don't need to apologize. I would say this is the American dream. Maybe it's the Canadian dream, but it sounds like this has been created over generations. This is the gift that your dad didn't have he didn't buy you Rolexes and buy you Ferraris and Corvettes, but he instilled something in you that created this amazing father you are today. And the fact that, like, you and I see each other on these drives every once in a while and I can pick up on this, I love stories like this.
And my mom, like, let's give him.
Oh, yeah,
credit, my
absolutely.
parents. But yes, but like I was.
Thank
trying
you,
to say,
Mom Jacob.
I just want to give him the life that the best life I can.
Oh, I think he's going to have a better life because he's already not negotiating you. That's awesome, man. Okay, so I feel like, man, I had this whole idea of we're going to talk about the Grand Sport, but I feel like we should talk about the Grand Sport.
We can talk about it.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
'cause you got to go.
I got to go soon, but let's talk about.
We got to
Grand
send you
Sport.
back to Canada.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is after the embargo, so
Yes.
give me your top 3. Good news, bad news.
Let's start with the bad news. Actually,
Bad news.
there's no manual. Where's the goddamn manual?
Yeah, Tony.
Tony.
Where is it?
Yeah.
And last night, we were the last ones at dinner.
Yes, we were.
And I presented Tony with a business case.
And so did I.
And he laughed at me.
Oh.
And I have a business case that can support itself and make money and get manuals in a Corvette.
Okay, mine was a much worse business
Yours
case.
was ridiculous.
I said-
you want to tell them what it is?
Yeah, Tony, have you considered losing money?
No, I'm sure Tony's lost some money in his time. Have you seen his race cars?
I haven't actually.
Yes. His wife, we do this event every year in Detroit. You got to come, actually. Bob Boniface, chief designer of Cadillac, he's got a 2-acre backyard. And we do this, it's cars in my yard. And I don't know how he got this past his wife, but he literally invites all of his idiot friends over. They park their car in his backyard on the grass. They have White Castle and beer, and they bullshit about cars. But all his friends are like Tony Roma.
Okay, yes.
So Tony Roma
Another
brings
level.
his street legal race car.
Oh, man.
And 1 year his wife's walking around like, who wants to buy it?
Don't invite me to that. Well, first of all, I don't have money to buy that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
it's a
but-
junkie mitt.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all junkies. It's the worst kind of people.
That's
But the
perfect.
best kind of people.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it is no exaggeration.
Yeah.
I go to Pebble Beach. I go to Goodwood. This is the best car event.
Okay.
Full stop, and I'm not joking at all.
I'm gonna keep you on track. Grand Sport.
3 things.
Yes.
I'm going to start with the good news.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to start with the good news. The good news is I like that they brought the hybrid. And I'll tell you why. And you're going to think I'm a shill for Porsche. And this is basically, I'm giving away my episode here. Corvette is now the only one that has out Porsche. Maybe not out Porsche. It's kind of like hold my beer Porsche. Porsche has this level of mission, this level of mission, this level of mission, this level of mission. Now Corvette, and I think Tony did this by design, he matched all of them. Granted, the numbers aren't exactly the same. The horsepower is more in the Corvette, so is the weight. But the realistic experience, we haven't driven Grand Sport yet, but in terms of like ZR1X and ZR1, they're kind of straight across the plate.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And that's the good news here. I think it's the Grand Sport and the Grand Sport X that the ball dropped, and he was doing this and hiding it in plain sight and just didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
So now we know why it's called the ZR1X.
Right.
And shall we tell them what happened last night?
If you'd like to.
I think someone confirmed that there's something coming above the ZR1X. I think we got a confirmation.
Well, we didn't get an official confirmation.
Not an official confirmation.
No.
But we got the side eye.
We got a bit of a smirk, maybe.
Maybe, and I'm not telling you who.
No.
Yeah, so
no.
Chad, do not fire anybody.
We didn't get a confirmation. We got a slightly more than silence.
And the conversation was over at that
Yes.
point.
Yes.
So, okay, good news on Grand Sport X and Grand Sport for you.
Yes.
You told me the bad news.
Yeah. I like that the engine has more power and torque.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the sound. It sounds actually quite a bit better than the outgoing LT2.
100%.
So I didn't expect that. Like, that was pretty impressive.
Now, let's go back to the manual thing for a second and just put aside the fact that we are idiots that will buy brown cars with corduroy seats, manual transmission, and diesel engine. Used, absolutely. Because let some other sucker pay the depreciation.
That's right.
That is the story of my life.
Yes.
Tony swears up and down there's no way to make money with a manual. I completely disagree with him. I say he makes the 575 horsepower car 3,200 pounds. 150 grand. Make 900 of them. Print money. Pay for itself. What do you think?
I actually said, why don't you just price it like a ZR1?
Well, yeah. I mean,
If you really want a manual,
but Porsche's proven this.
Yeah.
I mean, they took money off of me for this.
Yeah.
And I think Ferrari's going to do it. But is it just me being crazy, or do you think I'm right about this? If they make the, what is it? ZR1's 185 grand.
Yeah.
If they make a $185,000 car with a manual that's 500 pounds lighter, 500 horsepower, I think you'd sell every one of them you could make.
I think the key would be limitation.
Totally agree.
Porsche's really good at that.
Very good at it.
If you limit it, people will come because it's hard to get, right? So
we are not off base on this.
I mean, I don't think so, but I'm also not running the company or making.
But you're wearing a Rolex and you bought a house when you were 32 in the GTA.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing wrong with you is you like Harveys. That's the only thing wrong. So on that note, I think you know how we end these. What are the 3 aspects, 3 people, 3 events, whatever in your life that led to the success of Jacob, the father?
The father.
Well, just Jacob. But from now on, I'm calling you Jacob the father.
Yeah. I mean, my parents, obviously. I got to give them number 1 shout out. My wife, son, and Yuri. I'm going to, in that order.
Well, Yuri makes it.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be here without Yuri.
Yuri drives the minivan now.
I wouldn't be here without
He
that
should be dead to
minivan
you.
driving guy.
I love you, Yuri, but the minivan, we got to work on that. We got to talk about that.
Hey, I literally wouldn't be here without Yuri.
That's amazing. I mean, it's obvious. It's we give him a lot of crap, but
Every day.
I've always had a lot of respect for him at first because I knew it was him with the film stuff. Like, I could see what you were guys were doing on the program, and I could see, and he kind of protected it. It was like an IP thing.
Yes, we did. We did.
You were very proud of it.
Yes.
Like the car-to-car mount or something like that. You
It
were
was back in the day, yeah.
and I have always had a lot of respect for you guys, and him in particular for that. But now I have a newfound respect for him, too, because clearly you wouldn't be the father you are and the man you are and the husband you are without this crazy friend of yours. Right or wrong?
I could probably be the same husband without Yuri.
Probably a better husband.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Next time we're together, we're bringing your wives on.
Yeah, my wife's fantastic. She takes care of our son when I'm gone, so she's incredible. I can't give her enough credit because
She probably deserves a Nobel Peace Prize to deal with you.
yeah.
Sir, this has been enlightening.
Thank you.
We've known each other since 2017,
Yes.
and we always have a good time, chatting, getting along. But this has been an educational experience for me, and I kind of learned from it.
No, this is great. Thank
When
you.
I grow up, I want to be a father like you. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
I always love chatting with you at these events. And where's the whiskey and cigars you promised me? I know it's
I got cigar. I'll give you a cigar to go home.
all right. I'll go find some whiskey.
I'm not a drinker. Cigars,
Yeah.
I'm your man.
Sounds good.
Jacob, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Until we see you guys in the next episode, bis später.